In a rivalry week full of upsets, the number 1 ranked Oregon Ducks were not one of them, putting on a show against the Washington Huskies, winning 49-21. The Oregon Ducks defeated the Maryland Terrapins 39-18 here at Autzen Stadium this Saturday. Despite the win, however, the number 1 ranked team is nowhere near satisfied with their performance. For those wondering, it's about 41 degrees Fahrenheit outside, so I don't even want to know how cold that water is. And that is the difference between someone who practices 6 days a week and someone who's only picked up the paddle for the first time since middle school.
Let's check in. Nate.
You know, Joey, it seems like Coach Bullock agrees with you. They had to keep that momentum going, but when the shots start falling for the Capitals, there's not much you can really do about that. What he is saying they can do something about is attacking the mismatches more.
But how many presidents can University of Oregon students actually name? And can they name more presidents than they can Duck athletes? We're here to find out.
So like you said, this is the Jaguars' first year, and so this also means that this is your first time in Eugene watching them. What have you seen outside of basketball about this team? What has stood out to you?
Well, I've been very impressed with the team market owner, Marion Clark, because he stayed encouraged.
Today on Oregon News, a potential new service fee creating lots of controversy. Local baseball team Eugene Emeralds on the move, but where? President Donald Trump's meeting with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky gone confrontational. Recapping the 97th Annual Academy Awards. An impressive weekend for Oregon sports, including some program records. And bingo with a dragging twist. All that and more coming up on Oregon News. It's the aforementioned battleground states that will really determine the result. Now, 22 years later, Roberson is set to be executed for the murder of his daughter. But did he do it? Roberson, multiple medical experts, and even the detective who prosecuted him all say no. The suite delivered 10 pieces of equipment which will operate for 1 lunar day or 14 Earth days. During this time, the instruments will test drilling, sampling collecting, and global navigation technology, aiming to provide insights on space weather and other cosmic forces. Now, you can play with 3 different receivers on the field, but you can't play with 3 different quarterbacks on the field. So next, we're going to take a look at the Denver Broncos, which is a team that has some questions on who will be at the helm for Week 1. Captain America: Brave New World, the upcoming 4th installment in the MCU's Captain America franchise, is set to hit theaters February 14th, 2025. Local tow companies are working tirelessly to get the water-damaged cars off the road. Meanwhile, locals whose homes weren't as affected by the floods are donating their leftovers and canned foods to help those in need.
Honora, Sean Baker.
But nobody won more than filmmaker Sean Baker. Baker tied Walt Disney's previous record of 4 wins in one night, taking home the trophy for Best Picture, Director, Original Screenplay, and Editing. But that wasn't the only record of the night.
Guys, there's an El Matador. He is running away from Abu at 145. Tell him sign the gun contract. Spain, Hawaii, wherever.
They all say the same shit. I swear to God, they all say the same shit. I will be the one who is gonna put him in his place. He's cocky, he's this, he's that, and guess what? I put them in their place, you know?
UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi is on the horizon. This Saturday, featherweight champion Ilya El Matador Topuria takes on former champion and UFC BMF Max Blessed Holloway in a heavily anticipated bout where legacies will be on the line. Max Holloway was the reigning featherweight champion from 2017 to late 2020. With 3 title defenses and multiple UFC records, Holloway is widely regarded as one of the greatest featherweights of all time. However, in December of 2020, Holloway lost the belt to Alexander Volkanovski and was never able to reclaim the title despite challenging Volk 2 more times. But in UFC 300 this past April, Holloway was able to defeat Justin Gaethje with a now iconic last-second knockout. This performance earned him another title shot. Only Hall of Famer Jose Aldo has had 2 separate reigns with the featherweight belt, giving Holloway a chance to enter elite company. Now, even though Holloway was never able to beat Volkanovski, for a while there it seemed like nobody in that division could. That was until Ilya Topuria. Back in February, Topuria knocked out Volk, ending his 4-year, 5-title defense reign and becoming the undisputed featherweight champion. With a record of 15-0 and adding another decorated fighter in Holloway to his list of wins will bolster Topuria's already impressive resume. In a division that's only had 5 champions throughout its history, a win could cement Topuria's name as one of the all-time greats. Topuria will enter the bout as the slight betting favorite. With Duck TV Sports, I'm Nathan Shinagawa. Every year, supporters of the Special Olympics gather here at Marie Jacobs Park to partake in the symbolic polar plunge, jumping into the cold water as a sign of support. This year's polar plunge has already raised $56,000 of their $67,000 goal, with fundraising remaining open through March.
The energy is so electric. It's so nice. We kick off the event with a 5K, and folks are out running, walking, and then people come back, and then we do a costume contest, and then have plunge.
Participating in the polar plunge directly supports 5,000 plus Special Olympic athletes in Oregon.
It's a sign that we have a lot of support from the community. I think that's just a very encouraging sign.
It promotes inclusion across, all of the different facets of our life and athletics, and it's just a really great cause to be a part of. I believe softball is going to be in the area, potentially also bocce ball. So all of the funds raised go to support those events.
With Oregon News, I'm Nathan Shinagawa. In a rivalry week full of upsets, the #1 ranked Oregon Ducks were not one of them, putting on a show against the Washington Huskies, winning 49-21.
I mean, what more can I say is I hate Washington. I hate them.
Last year, the Ducks lost to the Huskies both in the regular season and in the Pac-12 championship. Continuing their rivalry this year in the Big Ten, the Ducks came to the game with a little extra motivation.
At the end of the day, these guys ruined our chances at a national championship last year. In the weight room, we got videos up of every single game we played against them. And when you're pumping weights, you see that. And it just reminds you, and that's the beautiful thing about football, is you can use that to fuel you.
The offense used that motivation to put up a season-high 49 points, with quarterback Dylan Gabriel throwing for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Knowing that, history don't help us one bit, you got to go prove it. And, I felt like we did.
On the other side of the ball, the Ducks tied their single-game franchise record for sacks with a grand total of 10.
I do feel like this is our most complete game, right, in all 3 phases. And ultimately, this is a lot more like March Madness now than it was, 2 years ago. So it's about playing consistent football at the end of the season, time after time after time.
The Ducks will next head to Indianapolis to play in their first ever Big Ten championship game. With Duck TV Sports, I'm Nathan Shinagawa.